Well, it's October, and we all know what that means. We're going to be doing pumpkin bread. Sorry about that. If you're listening carefully, you just heard every woman in America and probably half of England just scream, "Oh my God, I love pumpkin bread!" I mean, we all love pumpkin bread. And some of them will be surprised to find out that you can actually put pumpkin spices in something besides a latte.
Oh, I gotta remember that one.
But all kidding aside, pumpkin bread is probably one of the most iconic foods for fall and especially October, so let's get started. But before we get going, get yourself some relaxation juice. Cooking should not be stressful. Please, let's have fun and go bit by bit. All right, to start off with, we're gonna have a pureed pumpkin. There might be some pumpkin bread purists out there that require you to puree your own pumpkin. And if you're one of those people, then I will just pause me right here and come back in about 2.5 hours after you're done baking and peeling and pureeing your pumpkin to just get to this exact spot. All right, there we go, and then follow along after that. This is roughly 2 cups worth of pumpkin puree. All right, so if you're doing a little bit more or a little bit less, please adjust accordingly. There we go. All right. And just like with the banana bread recipe, I'm doing a wet bowl and a dry bowl. This is obviously the wet bowl. So into this pumpkin puree, we're gonna do about 2/3 of a cup of whole milk. You can absolutely get away with skim milk, although I would recommend the whole milk. Alrighty. We are going to pour in about 1/2 of a stick of melted butter. Alright, hang on. There we go. It does not have to be completely liquefied, but softened is a definite recommendation.
There we go.
And you're probably sitting there thinking, could you use something besides butter? Yeah, you probably could, but as we all know, only communists don't use butter, so go ahead and use butter. All joking aside, I think the full fat from the butter and the whole milk will make this much more satisfying when you eat it, which means you won't need to eat quite as much.
Genius, genius, genius.
All right, so next we're gonna add 1 whole egg. There we go. That is all ready to go. So just like for the banana bread, we mix our wet ingredients together first because I want all of these ingredients to start marrying each other as much as possible before we add it to the dry bowl. Also, you don't have to worry about overworking the flour because there is no flour. All right. There we go. Next up, we are on to the dry bowl. And of course for this, we're gonna need our sifter. If you don't have a sifter, it's fine. You can absolutely make the bread. There you go. Without one, the sifter just helps to put a little bit of air in all these dry ingredients, and it helps mix them together. All right, next we're going to do our sugar, and sugar doesn't sift super well, especially brown sugar. It totally packs in there. Oops, I forgot to tell you, this is 1/2 a cup of white sugar and 1/4 cup brown sugar. Next, we're going to add in about a tablespoon of baking powder. Sift that in. And about did I say tablespoon? We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and about 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We want both of these in there to help this thing raise up a bit. The pumpkin is a little heavier than, say, banana, so this just helps that out. Next up, we have our spices. And of course, you could just go to the store and buy pumpkin spice, but in case you're in a spot that doesn't have a pumpkin spice available, or you just want to mix your own, this is my combo for pumpkin spice. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, the same with cinnamon, 2 teaspoons. And we're going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. Last but not least, we're going to add a very small amount. It's only about 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. This is that spice that'll make everything feel warm and toasty while you're eating it. All right, before I forget, in the wet ingredients bowl, I actually did forget. I usually add a little bit of vanilla extract in there. I'd say about 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon, but we're actually going to use a little something extra. I like to use some Jamaican rum, particularly the Kraken. That way, every time I open it, I can just say,
Release the Kraken!
Anyway, we're going to add about, I'd say we're going to eyeball this. About a teaspoon. Call that 1.5 teaspoons of Jamaican rum. The rum will just give you a little bit of a depth of flavor in your pumpkin bread, otherwise known by the Japanese as umami. Alright, so now that's all incorporated in there. And just so everybody knows, the recipe will be in the description below the video, so please check that out. And next, we're going to take a fork or an egg beater if you want to, and we're going to just kind of mix up all of our dry ingredients as best as we can. We have our wet ingredients all together. We have our dry ingredients all together. There we go. Time to pour our wet bowl into the dry bowl. So we're going to try to make a little bit of a well with our chopsticks or stirring utensil of any kind. And in it goes. Ooh, I must show the camera, I suppose. There we go. I'm not doing a very good job of showing the camera. I'm sure everybody at home will get the gist of it. There we go. There we go. Chopstick seemed like a really good idea when this started.
He thinks he's a ninja.
This batter is thick enough. I'm just gonna have to suck it up and swap over to my rubber spatula. All right. And we don't want to stir this thing until it's completely smooth. We just want to stir it until all of these clumps of flour are all gone, okay? So you don't see them quite so much. Alrighty. Everything is in this bowl ready to go. You could bake it off right now and it would turn into a pretty good pumpkin bread and everybody would like it. They'd call your name in the streets and say how wonderful it is to know you. Or, there we go. Alternatively, you can pop this into the refrigerator for about, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes. Optionally, you can keep it in there overnight, okay?
Inner peace.
All right. Welcome back from your meditation. Our batter is out of the fridge. If you're putting this in overnight, please make sure you give it time to room up to warm temperature all the way through.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it. Thank you.
Otherwise, when you bake this, they're going to be, like the outside edges are going to be finished, but the inside's still going to be a little bit gooey. Unless you like that sort of thing, and then more power to you. All right. Well, while I was waiting, I took the liberty of buttering all of my ramekins for the oven. All right, if you're going to do a baking tray, I would do about a 4 by 8 baking tray. That is inches. I don't care about metric.
But I am not amused.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake these 2 ramekins here normal in the conventional style oven. And I have something I wanted to try. I normally save it for cake, but I'm going to put a candied edge on our pumpkin bread, all right? And the way you do that is you take some raw sugar. If we can see that, let me get some light on here.
Illuminate.
I've already buttered this dish. So as I rotate this, make sure you have a slight backwards tilt. That sugar is going to coat the outside of this ramekin. And there we go. What's going to happen is while it's baking, all of this sugar is going to turn into caramel. There we go. And it's going to give you a nice crunchy outside of your pumpkin bread. There we go. There we are. And before I ran into an issue of room on this baking tray, so I'm going to do these 2 in the large conventional oven, and this one is going to go into my toaster oven at 350 degrees. I'm still going to bake it for an hour, and it's going to be great. All right, so let's get filling. That's what he said. Let's see. And this whole time, just so you guys know, I have been preheating both of my ovens to 350 degrees. That way I don't have to wait for them to warm up. I can just stick whatever I want to in. All right, I'm gonna fill the first one. There we go. And we're gonna fill it just about to the top rim there. If you go a little bit too high, that's okay. It'll just end up with a bit of a muffin top. And your mom has a muffin top, and I still love her. Next one, same deal. There we go. Okay. And then last but not least, our candied one. All right, just so everybody at home is aware, there we go. At this point, your entire kitchen is going to start smelling like a delicious bakery. So let me readjust this. Fellas, particularly ones in college, if you're lucky enough to have a toaster oven in your dorm, learn how to make pumpkin bread, all right? You know how all the girls around you just start screaming about pumpkin lattes and whatnot around October? Bring that energy to your dorm. As soon as you start baking it, the entire building is going to start smelling like pumpkin bread. They're all going to follow the trail to your dorm, and who's got two thumbs and is getting all the women? You, hopefully.
So what can I say except you're welcome?
All right, our pumpkin bread is in the oven. We're going to leave it there for about an hour. Go relax, do all your fun stuff. See you then. Our pumpkin bread is just about to finish. About to pull that out of the oven, but while that is finishing up, I thought it would be fun to try out to make I thought it'd be fun to try and make a cream cheese frosting. This will be a dad first. All right, but I'm trying to break the mold, not go traditional. I got a whipped cream cheese. Hopefully this will be a little bit easier to mix up. So I'm taking, let's see, this is 8 ounces or a half a pound of whipped cream cheese. I'm taking roughly half of that, so 4 ounces. There we go. And to which I'm going to add about, I'd say, 2 teaspoons worth of Jamaican rum. You can alternatively add vanilla extract instead. We're gonna try to mix that sucker in a little bit. All right, I'm gonna swap up my game and get a fork instead. This might be the exact right environment for some chopsticks. If you don't know how to use chopsticks, it is okay. Please use an egg beater. Get that nice and mixed up, and now we're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. Other recipes online also call for butter and a lot more powdered sugar than this. I don't know if it needs to be that sweet. If you're someone who really needs your cream cheese frosting to be sweet for your pumpkin bread, by all means add a bit more. Once this is done being mixed, feel free to taste it and add as you like, okay? There we go. And you can use powdered sugar or confectioner sugar, which is a slightly lighter powdered sugar. Both are good. All right, let's taste it. That's pretty good. Really good. I'll be right back when these pumpkin breads are finished. Our breads are out of the oven, but let this be a lesson to everybody. These two were in the conventional oven for about an hour. I took them out about 5 minutes early to let them finish baking on the outside. They're still very warm, so if the inside's a little doughy, that's perfectly okay. This one, however, was in my toaster oven. This was the one I had candied on the outside there. It turned out okay. It actually ended up cooking about a half hour sooner than the other ones. Like, these two were about the same size. And it got done in 30 minutes versus these two getting done in an hour. So you do not need a conventional oven in order to pull this dish off, okay? You don't need big fancy machines. All you need is the willingness to try, okay?
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
So, what are we gonna top them with, okay? There are people out there, I'm one of them, who could just cut these open, start eating them, and have a great time. However, there is a portion of this population where the icing is the whole reason they showed up. So, let's see, we're just gonna put our cream cheese frosting on top of this, spread it kind of evenly. There we go. And the bread is just out of the oven, so it's still warm, which actually is helping us spread this icing. There we go. Try to make it as smooth as possible, as even as we can get it. There we go. Spreading it to the edges. Alrighty. See, this one's already got a candy shell on it, so instead of doing the icing, I think it'd be neat to... We're gonna grab a fork, we're gonna grab our powdered sugar. There we go. We're just gonna dust the top of it. Now, if you saw that at Starbucks, you'd be like, man, that's about $1,000. No, this costs like maybe $5 for everything, okay? And then this one, oops, still quite warm. That's, oh my gosh. All right. So this big one, we're gonna let cool down completely. As you can see, its top is starting to deflate a little bit. That's natural. It's gonna happen when you pull it out of the oven. Just all the hot air is escaping, but it's fine. All right. Get that one out of the way. All right, but enough about looking. It's time to test it out. Grab your relaxation juice because you're gonna need it. Let's take a bite of the one with the cream cheese frosting.
It tastes just like I dreamt it would.
Yes, sirree. This one reminds me of Grandma's house. Go there every fall. You pick out your candy that she prearranged for you, give you one of these. This is the best treat you're ever gonna get. Screw all the candy. Hershey's delicious, but screw you. This is the best one. Now let's try this little innovation that I tried. All right, powdered sugar. Here we go.
This is tasty.
This is a really good updated innovation. If you're not a huge fan of cream cheese or you can't have it, just dust the top with some powdered sugar. That's amazing. All right, but I'll try not to throw my shoulder out, patting myself on the back here. Please let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite pumpkin spice thing? Or what's your favorite type of pumpkin bread? What do you like to have it with? Anyway, the recipe is down in the description. If you want to support the channel, please buy some merch down in the description. The cheapest way to support the channel is just to give me a like, a share, and subscribe. Like, show your friends. Please show your friends. Seriously, for the love of God. For the love of God, show your friends, okay? Okay. Anyway, I've been Dad. Have a nice day. Alright, what am I gonna do about all these dishes? Oh, I know. Hey, honey, trick or treat? Treat. Your treat is you get to clean all this stuff, all this mess.